Excellent, nice one. I'll send it to the customer, tell them we can't make it because it's raining. Who fancies a Mackies?
Yay!
Hello everybody, hope you're well. Another bank holiday, another half term, and we've lost some time due to weather. Honestly, it's all made for a bit of a short week. However, we've still got things to show you, including, you see in the background there, the porch that I've started. So I'll get you up to speed on how we got to this stage, and then we'll go from there. And this is what we're dealing with. Now, arguably, when doing porches or small little things like this, the setting out of the brickwork, you need to take more care at this stage than you do anything bigger, simply because you haven't got the amount of bricks to play with in terms of your perps. I can't open up or tighten up over the course of, what's this, 5 bricks, 5.5 bricks. If it was 20 or 30 odd, you can manipulate it. In this case, you can't. So always dry bond and set out to your facing bricks. And if that means that the perps to your engineering bricks are bigger, in this case they are, then so be it. The greater good. From this point on, they'll be tighter and much better. Also, when you get to your wall, as you can see, that is quite an ugly, mahoosive perp, if you like, to the wall there. The wall starts from the damp up. So you've always got to set your engineering bricks back anyway, because that's a mortar joint, and then from that point it becomes mastic, and then your bricks go straight to that wall starter. Now in this case, something you've got to check, if your wall is way out, which it is there, look, so this whole pillar here is leaning out. What we really want to do, because it will look terrible if it doesn't, we want to keep that line of bricks, that line I should say, where it meets the house, consistent and plumb all the way up. Now if we were just to go to the house, that line will come out like this, which will make these joints smaller, which could end up then, as we go up, we could have a cut in it, which is horrible, which is why I put a big joint there to get over that. Because by the time we get to the very top, that shouldn't be far off 10 mil, or at least touching the wall starter. So yeah, if this was bigger, 30 or 40 bricks long, you can manipulate that and get round it and squeeze in or open up a little bit. We can't here. So you do need to be spot on from the absolute get-go. And there we have it. Right then, time lapse, bit of music. Right then, well that's what we're up to. Let's just quickly go through what's actually going to happen here. Front door there, quite obviously. This is going to be solid all the way around. That's just to create a big space on the inside. Have a little bench there, sit down, shoes on, coats, the lot, all hidden. You put a window in here, it's all going to be in the window, so there's not much point. And to let more light in, there's going to be not quite a floor to ceiling window, but you know what I mean, in that side there. From that point now, all the way up. Opted to keep it 9-inch simply because, well, that sort of governed my decision here. That is for the solar, which was installed a couple of weeks ago. Now, we're hoping it's not going to stay there. It's actually going to go on maybe this reveal down here. However, if I was to put a cavity in here of any size, then I'm going to hit that, and then they won't be able to get it off, and I want to make it as easy as possible for them should they have to come back and move it. So keeping it 9-inch, and then once it's gone, insulate plasterboard on the inside of the entire thing in order to give it some kind of value. Even though it's not a habitable space, it doesn't have to be up to regs, so to speak, but we're doing something. Let's try and make the most of it and do it to the best of our abilities. But it's a tools down moment from here now, because there's been a bit of development round the back. Now, nobody's ever asked me, Ad, how do you know if the window fitters have been? But if they were to, I'd say, well, there'll be two signs. The first one being, you know, those cavity closures, those really expensive things that were painstakingly cut and installed correctly to both manufacturer specifications and the building inspector specifications, just to make sure you do everything right, prim and proper, put it all on YouTube to make yourself look good. Yeah, they'll just be ripped out and just thrown to the floor and just completely discarded. The second sign would be, quite obviously, that the windows will be, wouldn't they? Look at them. Don't they look beautiful? But the best bit is inside. Or should I say, on top. Look at that. Isn't that something? I am extremely happy with the way that has turned out. Now, I've had lanterns installed before. I mean, we've all seen them before, no doubt. However, not one that big. That is 2 metres by 2.5 metres. And because it was that size, I thought it'll be split down there or something, at least being 6 pieces of glass. I didn't think it'll come in a minimum of 4. Oh, that is fantastic. And the reason why these doors have taken so long to arrive and to be installed, to be fair to the fitters, the bifolds, which are, don't want to say standard, devalues it a little bit, but they're white bifolds. They slide to the left, crisscross, and name the song. And what isn't standard is this door here, which I thought when the customer ordered it, I thought, oh, I don't know about that. I've never had one. Never had a customer ask for it before. Never really seen it, but yeah, that's lovely. That's got more comments than anything else I've had so far. The people who have seen it. With the window next to it, with the, I mean, you tell me about these trickle vents. They've got to be installed, I get it. But that one, what that trickle vent is supposed to do, that this doesn't, I don't know. But the best part about it, it's on the window. So if you open the window, it's not as if you're getting the benefit of the open window and the trickle vent. It just completely bypasses it by cracking whatever. Anyway, the reason why it took so long to come is because, to be fair to the fitters, the doors have been ready for a while. This thing is dual colour, meaning it's white on the inside that will match the room, but it is grey on the outside to match the roof. So when the customer's looking out of the window and whatnot, it sort of blends in more than it would do if it was bright white, and it doesn't stand out as much as it would do if it was grey in here, which can be done on your bifolds. If you wanted the anthracite look of the outside, you can have them white on the inside. You can do what you want, but as soon as you start doing that, it adds to the production time significantly. And there was no point having the doors fitted without that being in, is there? So there we go. Right then, let's have a quick chat about why a lantern is far superior than flat glass. Well, granted, I'm coming from this argument from a builder's standpoint. They're a lot easier to install and to do everything that you need to do around them to get it to its maximum efficiency than they are the flat glass. What I mean by that, or one of the points I mean by that is that I can now properly insulate the upstand on a lantern. All those bays that you see around the side, I can all have 100mm insulation inside. I've even got scope, if I wanted to, I could overlay that then with 25mm or insulating plasterboard quite easy. I can finish off the top. There's loads more room to do whatever it is you need to do. With flat glass, the specifications for the upstand need to be exact, and they don't give, in my experience, they don't give any leeway to insulate the upstands, and it's a big weak point from an insulation point of view. And there's videos on this very channel of us installing flat glass, and in all honesty, the upstands aren't insulated to spec, really, to what they're supposed to be, and I can't make any apologies for that, simply because that the upstand needs to be built the way it has to be built to fit the glass from wherever it is that we're getting from, and that design, that spec, simply does not allow for the correct amount of insulation. It's just as simple as that. So these people, the flat glass manufacturers, they need to start thinking about that and incorporating that into their designs. Whereas if you're having a lantern, you just build it as thick as you want, do what you want, then it's measured and it's made to measure. And here we are, perfect. It all turned up. They can turn up in kit form, as can the bifolds. They both turned up in pre-made, fully made, got it up there, got it on. Boom, excellent. It's just, for me, it's just a better job. Plus with glass, if that was flat glass, that would be a crane job. You'll never be able to pick it up in a million years. So that's obviously an expense. And something that big as well, it will sag and you'll get standing water on it. It's as simple as that. With that thing, obviously, you won't. Yes, it does encroach probably into your bedroom viewpoint as you're looking out, maybe. You know, whatever. That's a downside, I suppose. But I like it. It also gives that sense of height as well in the room that you're in. So I think that a lantern's far, far superior in many, many ways than the flat glass. With only the real deciding factor is, well, I don't like the look of them. Well, that's personal preference. For everything else, lantern wins every single time. Right then, let's go and see if the scaffold's arrived. Nope. Ah, well. Too much to ask for, everything going to plan for the second consecutive week, to be fair. Yeah, scaffold's supposed to be coming today. There's a chance it's coming tomorrow, but tomorrow's Saturday, so who knows? So we won't hold any hope for that. Monday, hopefully. Once that's up, then it is full steam ahead for this. The roof can be stripped back. We can start building on top of the wall. We can start getting that ready for the new roof. We've got jobs to be doing inside. Rain or shine now, we're happy. If there's no building to be done and it stays nice, we can jump on the porch and get that done. I'm leaving that for now. That's going to be a to and from. We can't prioritise on the porch when there's so much to get done in the actual build itself. So that's the plan for that. And apologies, it's yet another small, short video. But as I say, we lost some time for the weather, childcare, bank holiday, all that kind of stuff. We had to give the lads a hand with the glass on this, so that stopped progress on a couple of jobs that we meant to do this week. But stick with us, upcoming weeks, the future's looking bright, and hopefully so will the weather. So we'll leave it there then. So thank you for watching, take care, see you next time.